Hey there guys, what's up? It's your buddy mikeyperion here, and I hope you're having a great day because for today we are now at episode 7 of our iCraft season 5, and of course I have to show you guys that we have now 100% drained out the waters in the former ocean monument, and now it's gonna be our main base for this season of iCraft, and this will be our home, our city, our base of operation. Well, this took me more than a week of work draining out the waters, and also if you remember guys, 2 episodes ago we have lost our gears and stuff, but now I already have made a new set of armors and tools, even better enchantments, and we also got our elytra from the last episode, and as you can see we got more protection in each armor that we have. And of course for the tools, well, it's pretty much the same because we already have optimized our tools and weapons, right? So, well, let's take a flight. Let's have a view from above of what we have accomplished so far in our base. Well, this is not yet a base, it's just, a sunken thing. Well, of course, our plan here is like kind of similar to what we have done in Taskcraft. Of course, we are going to have our tree farm here, and these llamas right over here are everywhere. It seems like we have a collections of these llamas, but of course soon enough we are going to move them back to our temporary base 100 blocks away from here. So, well, let's take a look from the bottom part right over here. Of course, this place is really massive, right? I think we have more space than what we ever did for our base of operations, and I also have made this map right over here just to give you an overview of what we have here. So basically this part right over here is the original ocean monument, and we actually extended this part right over here and even on this side. So basically that's the entire base that we have. I think it's around 38 chunks that we have covered over here. So basically, well, the next thing that we have to do is to at least of course gather some resources. I already have started some smelting some glass, and later on we are also going to gather more. And as well as the next thing that we have to do is actually to flatten this area right over here. We are actually setting our floor at level 30, so we have to dig 1 block more down, and of course these pillars we also need to remove this. So basically I'm going to do this in a form of time-lapse chat, and I'm going to discuss with you guys our plans, our vision for the season of iCraft. Of course, I think it's not for the best, but anyway, so, well, let's get it on, right? So for this segment of our episode, I know it's gonna be more of like a talking session because we have a lot of things to discuss with you guys. Of course, these are the plans for our season of iCraft. Well, just to give you an overview, well, we have just started this season 5 of iCraft. Of course, we still have a long way before we end this season. Of course, probably it will take us more than a year before we actually conclude this season. Well, of course, we are going to have a lot of projects, literally more than what we used to have before. Well, there will be lots of building projects and some adventures that we have to do for this season. And first, of course, our main project, our own main project for this season is of course our base, our city. Well, the city of Perion, of course, that's gonna be our own main project, but I'm going to discuss more of that in a bit. But of course, I also want to mention to you guys that we are also going to have communal builds, which includes the town center. Well, we are also going to have a lot of projects in that area, which also includes the theme park project of Ion, this called the Laser World. Well, that's actually an official name of the place yet, but of course we have to find out soon what's gonna be the final name of that place. Of course, that's to find out soon. And these projects, we are going to do them collaboratively all together with our fellow iCrafters. Of course, we are going to do these projects all together. We are going to gather our resources and pull them into one place, and of course we are going to start building and help out each other in order to accomplish that massive project that we are going to have in the town center. Of course, not only the theme park, we are also going to have different districts in the town center, and it's going to be a massive project as well. Of course, we are going to work on those alongside with our fellow iCrafters, and also we are going to have our own projects in those locations. Like our I actually propose to have like a capital city, which will be our contribution in the community, and I'm also planning to have a community warehouse which we can actually store the resources that we are going to use for our communal builds, just to add a little system in our making our communal builds. And of course, we are also going to have our own shops over there, probably some Prismarine shops, but I don't know yet. I haven't decided on what to sell in our shopping district in the town center. Of course, we have to see that about soon in the future episodes. Well, the main topic for this segment, of course, it's going to be our plans for our city of Perion. And the very first thing that we have to build is actually this sunken part of the city, which actually I want to call this place like the Gardens of Perion, because we are going to have our tree farms here, and as well as some other farms like the dye farms and those other stuff that we can actually place in this location. And of course, this will also serve as our main base of operations, where we are also going to have our storage area, our smeltery, and those other things that we have to do before we can actually start our build session. So basically, this is going to be like our prep up area. So well, of course, we are also going to have some other farms here. I'm also planning to have like the iron farms, but we'll see about that soon. Of course, well, some of the stuff are not yet feasible, but what's definite is that we are going to have our tree farm here and maybe some slime farms, but of course we also have to see that soon. And of course, on the main part of the city, which is going to be the top part of this main base of operations, of course, we are going to build there on the top of the sunken thing, the actual city, the city of Perion, which is actually the main highlight of our base, our city. Of course, I want to build something massive in those parts of our city. Well, the first thing that I have in my mind is a clock tower, a ginormous clock tower in the center of the city. Of course, this is going to be the main highlight of our city. And as well as, aside from the clock tower, we are also going to build the statue of Perion. Well, of course, the details about this stuff are quite secret for the meantime, because I don't want to spoil what are the things that we are going to have. Well, of course, I want to make it really look awesome, right? But I promise you guys, it's gonna be massive. It's gonna be very challenging to build. Of course, I want to showcase to you guys something even better than what we have done before, something more audacious, something more brave that we can actually build for this season of iCraft. Of course, I guarantee you guys, they will be gonna be awesome, right? But anyway, so well, of course, aside from these stuff, we are also going to have other builds that we have to do aside from the city. But aside from that, probably of course, for the next 2 to 3 episodes, this place is gonna look skeletal still, and maybe up to the next 5 episodes, I don't know. But of course, we also need to prioritize soon the hostile mob farm. Well, we are not going to build a creeper farm for the season of iCraft. We are going to straight to build the hostile mob farm in order for us to have like a gunpowder for our stone factory. Of course, after we have built the hostile mob farm, we are going to build our stone factory, because you know me guys, I'm very dependent on the stone factory, right? Because most of the time we use the stones in our builds. That's why it's very important for us. So probably this place is going to look skeletal for the meantime, from the next couple of episodes. And hopefully after we have built this stone factory and the hostile mob farm, we are going to see the shape of our city. Of course, well, I'm also excited to see this city to take shape. Of course, I already have a lot of visions in our city, and definitely I'm also excited about it. And of course, hopefully you guys are also excited on what our city, the city of Perion, will gonna look like in the future. Well, I think those are the stuff that we have to discuss for this segment. Well, of course, guys, kindly, of course, well, something like if you have any other thoughts about our plans for our city, please comment it down below. That will help me a lot. Of course, if you have other suggestions, please leave it down in the comment section below. I would totally appreciate them. But anyway, so I think that's it for this segment, for this talking session. But anyway, so well, let's get back to work. Well, if you're guys wondering what's going on with our slime, well, Serpent Dagger made a data pack for the server that some of the slimes, well, that's our head, will be like player heads of all iCrafters, and they will also drop these player heads, which is pretty awesome, right? We can actually collect them. But anyway, so the next thing that we have to do is to do a bit of exploration and find a mesa biome where we can actually gather some terracottas for today's build, because for today's episode we are going to work on the walls of this base of operations. And I know the size of this place is totally massive, so that's why we are going to need tons and tons of materials as well. So of course, I have to show you guys how much player heads that I already have collected. So far, here's what we have. I actually already have everyone in my collection. But anyway, let's go find a mesa biome and of course, start resource gathering. And of course, how could we possibly resist to raid these desert temples along the way, right? So basically, of course, what we're planning for this episode, we are going first to build a wall. Well, of course, most probably, this base of operations maybe will take us 3 to 4 episodes before we can finish it, because the place is totally messy, right? Of course, you have to save some time, and I know, well, this will take us a long time in order to finish it, but for the taskcraft, I think we have done that for like a week, but for now, I'm not sure on how long it will take us to finish our base of operations. Let's see this loot, and, a mending. But we already got our mending guy, right? But anyway, let's try to find the mesa biome and I'll be back. Well, this is pretty interesting place for a village, right? It's like a secret village in the middle of like the savanna biome. Well, they're actually hidden inside this valley right over here. Well, this is a nice place, right? I actually already found the mesa biome over there, but I actually wanted first to check out this village. Hopefully we can see something useful, right? And it's been a long time since the last time we had a trident, and hopefully for the season of iCraft we can get one, right? I want a riptide trident, and yes, and there's nothing though. So we already have set up our base right over here, including this nether portal, so at least we can easily go back and forth in this location, because I know in the future we are going to need more terracottas. But for this episode, of course, I'm planning to get something like brown terracotta and some plain terracottas, because we're going to use cyan. So let's get the chords of this place. I know it should not be that far, so 880 191. So I think they're pretty close. I hope so. So I took a screenshot, so at least I can go back here easily. But anyways, right after this, of course, I'm also planning to get some of those red sand, so at least we can use some red sandstone in the futures. But anyways, of course, let's start gathering these red sand first, and later on we are going to gather some terracottas. And so I think we already have gathered enough terracottas for today's build. So now it's time to get back to our base. And so far, let's put this in our ender chest, so at least we can make sure, because we are going to travel back to our base using the nether portal. Of course, we have to make a waypoint, so at least we can easily go back here, right? So basically, I'm thinking that I'm going to do this in a form of a montage, and let's wait for this, and let's start this. And that's actually pretty quick though. But anyway, we'll still have a lot of things to do, and of course, for the last segment of this episode, we are going to finish building the walls or the windows or whatever we call it. But at least, we got to have some progress in our base, right? But anyways, I'll be back. And well now, so let's start our building session. So the first thing that we have to do is to mark the pillars. So I'm thinking that we are going to place pillars in all of the corners and some in between these pillars. So basically, I think it will be doubled. So since, well, I think I already have counted it. We actually need to have 29 of these pillars. So you have to start here. So basically one pillar has to be 4 by 4. And what I'm planning to do in these pillars are basically we are going to put some lava inside it. So, well, at least we can automatically have some light sources with this pillar. So I think that's a really cool idea. But anyway, so, well, we'll see about that later. And all of the pillars were already marked. So we got 29 total of these pillars. So the next thing that we have to do is, of course, to column down some of these stone bricks all the way down to the bottom up to level 30. Well, that's actually our plan where the floor is going to be. So, well, we have to do this 29 more times, but I know it's gonna be very tedious, but we have to do this, right? And all of the pillar markings are already set. So the next thing that we have to work on are the windows. Of course, we're gonna get back on these pillars. But of course, I also have dug down on these certain parts because we got some hills right over here. So, well, the next thing that we have to do are the gigantic windows on all of the sides. And of course, we still got tons of things to do, right? So I'm planning to use orange for the windows. So basically we have to combine this red and yellow dyes to have the orange for the windows, for the glasses, and of course, well, I think the motive for this base of operations, of course, we are going to have greens on the roof part because I like dark prismarines, right? And of course, gray. So basically, let's do on that side right over there and let's see how this will turn out. Well, I didn't expect that this window will be this tall though, but somehow it looks pretty nice, right? But of course, same as with this window, but on this section right over here, we are going to have bi-level, so that's why we have a division in the mid section right over here, somehow in the lower mid section. So, well, because we have to constrain some of the trees like the birch and as well as the oak, so that's why we have that. So basically, I think we just need to duplicate a lot of things, especially this design right over here. We have to make this design all over on the sides. But anyway, so, well, that's a lot of tedious thing to do, but of course we have to do it. And now we are actually on the other end of the series of walls or windows. Well, we have already placed so many blocks for these builds and we're actually done with the window. So, well, let's take a view. Well, I know this is a lot of duplications of these windows, but of course we don't want to somehow over decorate this place, right? Well, we don't have a nice view on this section because we got this bunch of sickles around. So let's take a look on the back side. At least we got an open space right over here, so at least we can somehow have a better view of what we have accomplished so far. And I'm telling you guys, this is a lot of work, a lot of block placing, but so far I think it's worth it, right? I mean, this looks pretty awesome. Especially that this is massive, and so far I'm really happy of what we have accomplished here. And of course, we still need to do a lot of works on the pillar, and let's do it. And so I tried to make a sample right over in this section. So basically, we have used the andesites as something like blinds in order to contain those lava inside. And it actually gives like an awesome effect. Somehow it looks gradient on different levels or angles. If you see on this section, you will have those oranges in the mid section. And if you're in the bottom section, you will actually see the gradient on the lower level. So basically, we have to do this on the 29 pillars that we have in this base. So, well, still a lot of work to do, but anyways, let's do it. And I actually thought that we're done using the sponges, but of course we have to clear out the waters inside these pillars in order to put the lava inside. Well, it's necessary, right? Well, I tried different methods on how to build this efficiently, but what I did is that I prioritized those outer layers of these pillars. And of course, well, we are going to do this activity by activity, something like that. So now, well, we are going to start draining these waters inside. More sponges, should I say. Well, I'm not sure why we have like a crazy man going nuts around our base though. This traveling merchant is really scared of something, which I don't know, but basically he's glitched, right? But anyway, so here's what we have accomplished so far. So I already have removed some of those sands on these walls. So basically, of course, we still need to build another one over there. Well, the last thing that we have to do for these pillars is, of course, to build the inner part of these pillars. But anyways, well, last couple of things that we need to do before we end this episode, and I'll be back. And we're actually done with the structural parts of this pillar. And of course, the last thing that we have to do is to place this lava inside this tubular pillar. But of course, you have to do this 28 more times, and we're almost done. We're almost done. And finally, of course, it's now time to reveal the beauty of what we have accomplished for this episode. And of course, well, we are going to remove these temporary sands and stone. And I'm going to do this in a form of a montage. But anyways, I'm really excited to do this, and let's do this.
Piccolo and the king.
And finally, the last few couple of windows that we have to reveal. Well, some of those columns are already gone, but anyways, so well, let's remove these sands over here, and this is actually pretty satisfying to do, especially that if you have perfect, but this is not actually perfect though. Well, as you can see, it starts to reveal, and this window right over here is pretty perfect, right? I mean, well, somehow I'm totally happy of what we have accomplished. Well, like I said, what we are going to do for this base of operations is gonna be a series of builds, because this is totally massive, right? I mean, I cannot do this for like one episode, of course. Well, these slimes, especially these slimes, are pretty annoying though. I mean, from the start, it's actually fun to do this, but anyway, so I think, well, we already have accomplished something for our base of operations for this episode, and I'm totally happy with the result. So here's what we have, and this is the only time that I got for this episode. So thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a comment, please leave a like, and make sure to subscribe. This has been Mikey Perion, and I'll see you guys next time.